Hi guys, and welcome to chapter 1 of The Hidden Queen, the true story of Susan Pevensie, and this is called The Last Day in Narnia. The sea was different this time. Susan stood at the edge of Cair Paravel's ruins, one hand resting on a broken stone pillar, and she felt something cold settle in her chest. They'd come from wartime England, from ration books and blackout curtains and the constant drone of aircraft overhead. The war was in its third year now, 1942, and London bore the scars. But here in Narnia, the air smelled of pine and possibility instead of smoke and fear. Yet something felt wrong. She didn't know what it was, just wrongness. The way you know a storm is coming before the first clouds appear. Behind her, Lucy was laughing with Trumpkin the dwarf. Peter and Edmund stood with young Prince Caspian, deep in conversation about Narnia's future. How the old ways and the new ways might coexist. Important matters, kingly matters. Susan barely heard them. She was staring at the ocean, trying to memorize it. The exact colour of the water, the smell of salt and pine, the cry of gulls overhead. Why was she trying to memorize it? She didn't know. She just knew she had to. I can't remember Edmund's rooms, she said aloud to no one. The words surprised her, but they were true. When they'd been kings and queens, when they ruled Narnia for 15 years during the Golden Age, Edmund had chambers in Cair Paravel. She'd visited them countless times. She should remember every detail. But when she tried to picture them now, there was just fog, like trying to remember a dream that's already fading. That's odd, she whispered. We lived here, we ruled here. Why can't I remember? It's slipping away, Susan whispered to the sea, and I don't know how to hold on. The feeling grew stronger, the wrongness, the certainty that something was ending. Susan, Lucy's voice called, we have to go. Caspian says it's time. Time? Time for what? Time to leave. Susan turned from the ocean, took one last look at the ruins of the castle where she'd been queen, and followed her brothers and sister towards the cave. She didn't know it yet, but she would never see Narnia again. In the cave, Peter was making a speech, something about honour and remembering and how they always carry Narnia in their hearts. Edmund stood with his hands in his pockets, looking very uncomfortable indeed. He'd never been good with goodbyes. Lucy was crying openly, hugging on to Trumpkin, embarrassing him. And Susan felt like she was watching the scene from very far away, through a window, separated from it somehow. Why do I feel like this, she wondered. We've left Narnia before. We came back. We could come back again. Couldn't we? But something in her chest said, no, not this time. Queen Susan, Trumpkin said gruffly, appearing on her elbow. You're very quiet. Just watching, she said. Or memorizing? The dwarf's eyes were shrewd. Susan looked at him sharply. What do you mean? That's a goodbye look if I ever saw one. He executed a formal bow. You were a good queen, Susan the gentle, fair and wise and steady. Narnia won't forget you. But will I forget Narnia? Susan whispered. Trumpkin said nothing, just looked at her with something that might have been pity. And then the pull began. That strange sensation of being in two places at once, reality bending, England calling them back. No, Lucy gasped, grabbing Susan's hand. No, not yet. I'm not ready. But ready or not, it was happening, and it was happening now. Susan looked back one last time, saw Caspian raising his hand in farewell, saw Narnia green and gold and beautiful and impossible. And she saw something else too, Just for a moment, standing at the cave mouth where the light fell in shafts through the opening, a lion, golden, massive, watching her with eyes that held what? Sorrow, love, something else she couldn't name. And for just a heartbeat, Susan was somewhere else now. Not the cave, not now. A memory, a dream. Night, the stone table, Lucy sleeping, golden fur, golden eyes watching her. A feeling of choosing, agreeing, saying yes to something. But what? She tried to hold the image, but it dissolved like morning mist. Had that been real? Had something happened that night at the stone table? She couldn't remember. She blinked. She was back in the cave now, Lucy beside her, the pull of England growing stronger. She opened her mouth to call out to the lion, but England was already yanking them through. The last thing she heard, so faint she might have imagined it, was a voice like summer thunder. Remember you said yes, daughter of Eve. And then, nothing. They stumbled onto the railway platform. Children again. School uniforms. Ordinary. Professor Kirk was waiting exactly where they left him, looking exactly as he had. How long ago? Susan's head spun. A minute? An hour? It felt like they'd been gone for years. 15 years. She'd been a queen. She'd ruled and fought and grown. And the thought fragmented, slipped away. Well, the professor said mildly, train's delayed, I'm afraid. Shall we wait together? Professor, Lucy burst out immediately. You won't believe what happened. We were back in Narnia and there was this prince, Caspian, and the Telmarines had taken over and we helped win it back, Peter added, eyes shining. There was a great battle, like the old days. Aslan came, Edmund said quietly. At the end, he always comes. And they were all talking at once, excited, remembering, their words tumbling over each other. And Susan stood slightly apart, one hand pressed to her chest. Something was wrong. She closed her eyes and tried to picture what they were talking about. The battle, the prince, what had Edmund just said? A name, an important name. She'd known it this morning. She'd known it 5 minutes ago. Now there was just nothing. Susan, Lucy grabbed her hand. Her sister's face was flushed with excitement. Wasn't it wonderful seeing Cair Paravel again and the treasure chamber? Did you see your bow? It was still there. Oh yes, Susan said carefully. Yes, it was wonderful. It was easier to agree than to admit she couldn't quite picture it. Lucy didn't seem to notice anything wrong. She was already turning back to Peter and the professor, still chatting about the adventure. And Susan stood there, feeling the memories slip away like water through her fingers, trying not to panic, trying to understand why. Why everything felt so foggy when the others remembered so clearly. In the car on the way home, the others kept talking about Narnia, reliving it, laughing about moments from the battle, remembering details. Susan sat quiet, trying to hold on to anything. But it was like trying to hold water. The harder she gripped, the faster it slipped away. By the time they reached home, she couldn't quite remember what Mr. Tumnus looked like. By dinner, she'd forgotten the taste of Narnian honey cakes. And by bedtime, even the sound of that important name, the one Edmund had said at the station, was gone. But she didn't tell anyone. What would she say? I'm forgetting everything and I don't know why. Best to stay quiet. Best to hope it would come back. Lucy came to her room that night. Susan, I can't stop thinking about it, about Aslan and the battle and everything. Aslan, yes, that was the name. Susan smiled. It was quite something, wasn't it? Do you remember when Aslan roared and the trees started moving and Bacchus came with the wine and Lucy was off, describing everything in vivid detail. Susan listened, nodded, smiled, and felt absolutely nothing. The words Lucy was saying, they were just words. They didn't connect to anything, didn't spark any memories, didn't mean anything. "Susan," Lucy stopped. "You're very quiet." "Just tired, Lou. It's been a big day." "But wasn't it amazing, Aslan coming at the end, the way—" "Yes," Susan said quickly. "Very amazing. But I really should sleep now." Lucy looked slightly disappointed, but kissed her goodnight, and Susan lay in her bed, staring at the ceiling. Around her, the house settled into sleep. Normal sounds, a normal world. And Susan tried desperately to remember Narnia. What was that name? But there was almost nothing left now. Just fragments, impressions, the sense of something golden and important and lost. Something had been taken from her, something precious beyond measure. She just didn't know what, and she was too afraid to tell anyone that she was losing it. Even Lucy, especially Lucy, who remembered everything so clearly. Better to stay quiet, better to pretend, better to hope it would come back on its own. Next, chapter 2.